Thanks so much for tuning into the NBA here on 2K Sports. It's Thursday night basketball. It's this.
And a good Thursday evening to you. 2K Sports presents the NBA. I'm Kevin Harlan, broadcasting live alongside Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. This is a look now at the State Farm starting lineups. And as we take a look here at DeJuan Blair, what's your take?
Well, the biggest thing with Blair is his size. He's just a rebounder. He's a screener. He's a guy who can really impose his physical will on the game.
Well, he's got that tremendous scrapping ability as well, guys. And as soon as the ball is loose, ball pops up around him, he just wrestles it away from anyone who's foolish enough to try to get it from him. For the Miami Heat, they are coming off a good outing against the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was just a textbook performance. That game was all theirs. Once they got it going, it was full speed ahead.
Well, it was a good win. Ball movement, offensive spacing, efficiency. They were just really solid at that end of the floor.
And when they got hot, they were impossible to cool down. That was the case throughout the game.
Goes back up. LeBron dishes to Bosh. Stolen by Ginobili. And here comes Jackson leading the fast break. Parker passes to Ginobili. That's good. Ginobili's got his second basket.
That's grace over power, guys. With that finger roll, gets him 2 points. Impressive stuff.
When you're the talk of the league, it comes with some perks and additional pressure. I mean, you've got a target on your back, and that's what the Heat had on them all last year. A lot of teams in the West wanted to test themselves against Miami.
And here is Parker. After Dwayne Wade hitting the three, Parker kicks to Blair. Over Bosh. Blair can't hit.
That's a shot that he sometimes struggles with, but you can't fault him for taking it when the defense backs off like that.
Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
Kevin, I had a chance to talk with head coach Eric Spoelstra. I asked him what they needed to key in on defensively, and he said, well, we've got to limit penetration by Tony Parker. He's really the, quote, head of the snake, and with this floater, he doesn't need to get all the way to the rim to score. It's crucial that we do our best to keep him outside the lane. Guys, that's no easy assignment. We'll see how much success they have defensively.
Thanks, Doris. Miami, for the most part, Steve, dealt with the West all right. You know, they're 11-7, but clearly it wasn't as easy for them as when they played teams from the East.
Well, the Heat have to travel a long way, coming all the way from Miami to go to the western part of the United States. I think that can be a factor. And let's face it, the Western Conference is much stronger than the East, so their record out there is not going to be as impressive.
And the Heat going with the whole new group on the floor. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for Blair. Matt Bonner comes in for Splitter. Kawhi Leonard's checked in for Steven Jackson. And it's Green in for Manu Ginobili. Here's Duncan. Ray Allen picking up that last basket. Here's Parker, and that one's good. Parker's got 5 now. Guys back and forth this first half.
Well, 5 lead changes early on, guys, as we grapple back and forth.
Yeah, this could be a back and forth game all the way, guys, the way it's being played. This is fun to watch.
And San Antonio has possession, trailing by 2. This game against Miami here, their first look at the Heat.
And they're up against one of the few teams that really took it to them last year. They'll be excited because they got swept in the season series a year ago.
Allen for three. The shot misses. And at the end of one, both teams putting up some points. Heat out front. They lead by a bucket. And will be...
Well,
up to this point, a closely contested game as we start the second quarter. And when you consider how the Heat are doing, Stephen Clark, what are your thoughts?
And I'm just so impressed with the long-range shooting. They have really lit it up from outside.
Yeah, the sharp shooting from deep, a big part of their lead, and they're playing with confidence and shooting it well.
You know, when I think of Ray Allen, I think of the physical conditioning. When you look at him, he's well into his 30s and yet takes great care of his body, can run forever, and still one of the great shooters in the game. A first ballot Hall of Famer for sure.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade as the second quarter gets going. On the court right now for the Spurs. At the 2 and 3, Manu and Leonard. Matt Bonner is out there with Duncan. And it's Mills in at point. Udonis Haslem, he's checked in for the Heat. Battier comes in for Ray Allen. Then for the Spurs, DeJuan Blair, he's checked in for Duncan. Splitter comes in for Matt Bonner. And Gary Neal subbed in for Manu Ginobili.
And I think his strength, Kevin, is his ability to deliver in catch-and-shoot situations. He's very reliable in that regard, so that gives the offense some flow.
And another one of his really special talents is coming up with steals at the moment the ball handler picks up his dribble and is getting into a shooting motion. He's got excellent timing in that regard.
And Steve, with Ray Allen, we've all heard about his obsessive preparation. Don't you think, Clark, that helps his longevity?
Without question, Kevin. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you get what you put into it. In other words, what goes in the wash comes out in the reps. And his preparation and meticulous nature has allowed him to play at a high level for a long time.
That's good.
Well, they are really getting chewed up inside here. I mean, that's 8 of the last 10 points they've given up inside, in the paint.
Yeah, and the paint should be sacred ground for a defense. I mean, you can't let anybody just trot in there and get an easy bucket.
Ray Allen, he's checked in for Mario Chalmers. And the Spurs with some changes. The Heat leading by 3.
You know, some teams just know how to ramp it up in the postseason, and the Spurs are certainly one of those teams. I mean, Utah is one of the toughest teams at home, and the Spurs went in and swept them.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Well, guys, LeBron James won his 3rd MVP last season. He's one of only 8 players in NBA history to achieve that. LeBron said, every time I go out on the basketball court, I try to be the MVP for our team, and I try to lead. I want to be the best. And anytime fans leave the game, hopefully they can say, LeBron was the best player on the court tonight. I just hold myself to that standard. Guys, he's incredible.
That's why he's a champion, Doris. Thanks.
Yeah, such an amazing talent. He impacts the game in every way.
And for the Spurs last season, Steve, it was key to sweep Utah as they could rest up for the next round. Really helped them along the way.
Yeah, in fact, I thought they were the team to beat until finally getting swept away by Oklahoma City 4 straight after winning the first 2 games in the conference finals. But what a fantastic year for the Spurs. They were the best offensive team in the league. They just ran into a younger, more athletic team in the Thunder.
Patrick Mills, he's checked in for Corey Joseph. There's 39 seconds left in the second quarter.
Well, that makes 5 of their last 6 makes coming from inside.
Yeah, really focused on getting the ball into the paint because they're taking advantage of very porous defense down there.
And LeBron James gets it to go.
Boy, he's been so cool out there, composed, never rattled. I mean, a very steady contributor to the offense.
Mills dishes to Ginobili. And that one's good. Ginobili's got 8 points.
You know, he got 1 step ahead of the defense on that one. Excellent job.
Here's Battier, and the Heat, another 3.
Fellas, they are heating up from outside now.
Yep, of their last 5 hoops, 3 of them have come from long range.
And there's the call on James. That is his first foul of the game. And for those of you just joining us, in the second quarter with about 3 minutes gone by.
Kevin, that's exactly the kind of shot you want off the inbounds play.
Second quarter ends in a tight one. Heat lead by 5. And it's time now for the Sprint Halftime Show with Damon Bruce. We'll be back shortly to get the second half underway.
Now, presented by Sprint.
And we played 2 quarters out at American Airlines Arena, and a great game is in progress for our halftime show. Miami up on top against San Antonio. They're off to a hot start this season. They'd like to continue that hot streak in this game. A great performance by LeBron in the first half. He's got 10 points and has looked very good defensively, playing hard-nosed ball out there. It'll be the Warriors out at Oracle Arena against the Nuggets.
And a bird's-eye view of the American Airlines Arena, nestled on the waters of Biscayne Bay, as we return to South Florida.
What a game for LeBron. He's got 10 points, and he's been able to sink a pair of 3 balls as well.
That could be key for him. He doesn't need to hit a bunch of them, but just a couple or 3 from long range. That'll open up the game for him.
Mario Chalmers and Dwayne Wade, the tandem in the backcourt. Chris Bosh is out there with LeBron James, and it's Battier in at the small forward position. So that's who Eric Spoelstra starts the second half with.
Well, until recently, he was one of the top big men in Europe. Now in the NBA, he's really showing what he's got at both ends of the floor. An active big man. He can run the floor. He can rebound, block shots, and score a little bit as well.
Yeah, you know, a mobile 7-footer with a good basketball IQ. He's a factor on the offensive boards, boosting that box score with those second chance points. Kicks to Ginobili. Knocks it loose. To the middle. Here's LeBron. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. Now let's take a moment to see the teams that lead the league in field goal percentage. Number 1, the Heat.
Kevin, I've always said shooting percentage individually and for a team is a function of the kinds of shots you get. This team leads the league in shooting percentage because 1, they have good shooters, but 2, they take high-quality shots. They're a very disciplined group.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Yes, Kevin, the Dwayne Wade-LeBron James tandem in Miami, already one of the best in NBA history, and they push each other to get better every day. As Dwayne Wade said, we compete after practice. Obviously, it's not about keeping score, but after a lot of practices, we'll do a lot of one-on-one work because we understand that competition between us will make both of us better. Kevin, scary for their competitors.
I believe it. Those must make for some good battles, Doris. Thanks.
Solid advantage in the rebounding totals for them so far here.
You know, in every game, but particularly in a close game, every little advantage you can use helps, and they're certainly enjoying one on the glass here. And Manu Ginobili is really one of the top-tier shooting guards this league has to offer and has been for a while. He's hard to find the flaw in his game, whether it's defense, rebounding, scoring, passing. He's a stat sheet stuffer for sure.
Agreed. Here's what Miami's going with right now. Rashard Lewis. He's checked in for LeBron. Miller comes in for Shane Battier. Ray Allen, he's checked in for Dwayne Wade. And it's Norris Cole in for Mario Chalmers. Got a piece of it. Stolen by Bosh. Oh, and a fast break for the Heat. Here's Lewis. Tony Parker grabs the miss. And Steve, you played a season in San Antonio alongside Manu Ginobili.
I did, Kevin, and I felt like he was one of the great competitors that I've ever seen. He's one of those rare guys who literally does not care if he misses. Nothing seems to faze him. He embraces pressure. He embraces every big shot. And if he misses, it doesn't bother him. He just moves right along.
Are you kidding me?
That was a power punch right there.
Oh, great.
You know, that's something he's capable of every trip down.
And it's just impossible to get tired of.
Yeah, there's always this excitement, this aura that surrounds him, guys, and the crowd senses it.
And that was Sprite bringing you the close-up on that big-time play. Backing down is Jackson, and that's out of bounds. San Antonio will retain possession. And a new group in for the Heat. Pittman's checked in. LeBron comes in for Rashard Lewis. Shane Battier is checked in for Mike Miller. And Dwayne Wade is subbed in for Ray Allen. A little under 2.5 minutes gone by here in the third. And Joseph kicks to Blair. He feeds it to Neal. Here's the 3. Outside, Green. He kicks it to Neal. Second shot opportunity. Rebounded by Battier. Well, it was the San Antonio Spurs winning their last game against the Magic.
And you might not typically mention blocks as the key to a win, but I think you do in this case. They were really dominant defensively.
Well, when you come up with as many denials as they did, rejections that is, it's impossible not to mention. I mean, it was a great game for them defensively.
That concludes the third quarter. It continues to be an exciting neck and neck. And thanks again for joining us. Let's see what happens here in the fourth. And now our sideline reporter Doris Burke has a report on our Sprite uncontainable game. Hi, Doris.
Hey guys, well it was the stretch by the Heat that garners the uncontainable game today. They wanted to have a big presence on defense and be the aggressor, and it showed as they were all business in that first period. A big part of why they have the lead now.
Thank you, Doris. And how many times, guys, do we see a run like this become the difference maker in the outcome of a game?
Well, that usually is the case, Kevin, when one team can get on a run like they did, where they just feel so dominant offensively. More often than not, that's going to be the difference in the game.
And in this game, even at the very beginning of that run, you could sense the momentum getting ready to take a huge swing. And swing it did, fellas. Swing it did.
On the court for San Antonio, Parker and Manu Ginobili, their backcourt. Steven Jackson is out there with Splitter, and it's Blair in at the 5 down low. Here's Chalmers. Rebound by Tony Parker. Parker's got his fourth rebound in this one. There's 1:54 left in the fourth quarter. Jackson, that's good. And the Heat call time here. They're winning by 4. 1:49 left to play here in the fourth. All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
Thanks guys, I got a chance to hear what Eric Spoelstra was saying to his team. He said we are this close to finishing them off, but the job is not done yet, and I don't want to see any let-up out there. We'll see how well his point got across, guys.
Thanks again, Doris. The Heat leading by 4. And here's Chalmers from the arc. Miami no good on that time either.
He misses that one. He did knock down one three-pointer in the first half, though.
Parker against Wade. Passes it to Ginobili. With the fadeaway. Chris Bosh with the rebound. The Heat have gone 2 for 5 on field goal attempts in the fourth quarter. From deep. Sinks it. What range from outside. Wow. And the Heat lead by 7.
And the damage they're doing from three-point range here in the second half is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they're always a threat to spray home some threes now, but not like this.
And Shane Battier gets the whistle that time. That is his first foul of the game. Steven Jackson checked in for the Spurs. Here's Parker. Jackson passes to Ginobili. Count it! Oh, and that cuts the lead to just 5.
Now, they knew what the defense was doing, and they responded perfectly.
And stolen by Blair. Parker against Wade. Parker dishes to Jackson. Ginobili kicks to Jackson. Sinks it! What a beautiful shot to bring him to within 3.
Boy, he quieted the crowd with that big shot. That's a big play. Yeah, the crowd's been hoping for something to cheer for, but nothing.
When they foul intentionally, they're going to have to do that now again and again. They're not in the penalty yet.
Well, you do what you have to do to extend this game and try to get the ball back.
In this situation, clock management crucial.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. They're behind by 3. 16 seconds left in the fourth. What do you think, guys?
Well, down 3, you don't necessarily have to go for the 3. You could go for the quick bucket and then the foul.
I'm not sure. I mean, in this situation, I think they should look for the 3, Steve. I mean, try to tie this thing up. You got 3-point shooters. Let it fly.
We're in the final quarter of play here. 3 minutes in. And an intentional foul right there. And the first of 2 misses. And no good on the second free throw, so he goes 0 for 2 there. San Antonio calls timeout. They're trailing by 1. 7 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Here is Splitter. Poked away! And stolen by Chalmers.
for three.
And so the big win by Miami in a tight game. Well,
48. The Spurs, 40.